superhero.
Well, this conversation is likely to continue for the foreseeable future. In regards to the movie portion of these two comic giants, Marvel has been able to gain a clear advantage. Through the success of the Avengers and other franchises, Marvel has been able to create a movie empire that DC can only dream of matching, though time will tell whether the Justice League film series will reach a similar level of success. I developed this list to count down 8 amazing casting choices by Marvel. With the Marvel Cinematic Universe beginning to center more and more around the various Avengers, they will be featured prominently on this list. Best, Paul Rudd, Ant-Man. It has now become commonplace in Hollywood for well-known stars to live out their childhood fantasies by playing various superheroes. While some of these have been train wrecks, Halle Berry as Catwoman, others have been very successful, including the casting of resident funny guy Paul Rudd to play Ant-Man in the 2015 film. A career criminal, the sarcastic Scott Lang is recruited to fight crime and possibly save the world. Along the way, he will have to overcome not only regular and superpowered enemies but also his own insecurities. Rudd plays the Lang character perfectly, with his snarky comments and overall appearance completely fitting in with what the producers designed for their Ant-Man character. For that reason, he starts the good part of our list here at number 8. Best, Chris Hemsworth Thor. I first watched Cabin in the Woods, which Hemsworth actually starred in before being cast as Thor, after I had seen Hemsworth as Thor. After doing this, it is obvious that he was much more suited for his superhero role. The guy simply looks too much like a Titanic hero of yore to play anything but gigantic in size. And equipped with a noticeable accent, Hemsworth is perfect for the bigger-than-life role of Thor. Throw in the exceptional chemistry he shares with his on-screen nemesis Tom Hiddleston, discussed a little later, and it's easy to see how Hemsworth's Thor managed to exceed all expectations placed on him. For these reasons, we decided to put Hemsworth as Thor on the good part of our list, here at number 7. Best, Tom Hiddleston, Loki. I think the easiest way to tell when a portrayal of a villain is great is when the villain in the story becomes as popular as the hero. Such has occurred with Tom Hiddleston's portrayal of Loki in the Thor and Avenger films. His popularity has allowed him to straddle that line between hero and villain, making for a very entertaining and compelling character. With him again set to be featured prominently in the 3rd installment of the Thor franchise, hopefully he is able to up his already prestigious status as one of Marvel's greatest film villains. Hiddleston's portrayal of Loki is one of the main reasons for the success of these two films, and that's a spot for him here at number 6. Best, Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man. For those of you who have read my other superhero articles know that I try to award those films and actors who adhere to the characteristics of their respective character as defined in the comic book universe. The incomparable Robert Downey Jr.'s portrayal of Tony Stark, aka Iron Man, however, is the exception to this rule. The Tony Stark character played by Downey Jr. is nothing like the comic book Tony Stark, but that doesn't mean that Downey Jr.'s portrayal isn't still highly entertaining. Though his portrayal is not as philosophical, or frankly as whiny, as the comic book character, I think this actually makes for a more entertaining and appealing protagonist. With the constant wisecracks and emotional depth of the film character, I actually find myself cheering for Iron Man much more than I ever did for the billionaire in the comic book. Best, Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther. So admittedly this one is based on a small sample size. Chadwick Boseman has so far only played the Black Panther in the star-packed Captain America: Civil War film, but I really like what he has done with the character so far. Despite being on the wrong side of things for most of the movie, Tony Stark, Boseman carries himself with so much dignity throughout that you can't help rooting for him. It was very easy to side with the noble Boseman at the death of his fictional father, regardless of the fact that his anger was slightly misplaced. Luckily, the Black Panther is able to redeem himself by the end of the film, thus setting up his standalone film set to debut in 2018. Best: Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool. When it was announced that Ryan Reynolds was going to play Hal Jordan in the Green Lantern film, a lot of fans, myself included, were very excited. Reynolds seemed like the perfect fit to play the wisecracking ring-bearing hero. Despite this, many of us were disappointed by the character and the overall awfulness of the film. However, this was all rectified in 2016 when it was announced Deadpool would get his own film with Reynolds in the lead, with much better writing than the Green Lantern film received. The Deadpool film was everything that ardent fans of the comic could have hoped. Reynolds cracked jokes, kicked ass, did both at the same time. It was great. Therefore he makes our list here at number 3. Best: Chris Evans, Captain America. If you need an example of the diversity of superhero films, look no further than Chris Evans. When cast in the 2005 Fantastic Four film, Evans just never quite fit into the Johnny Storm role. Of course, the exact opposite could be said of his role as the ever-heroic Steve Rogers, aka Captain America. It is apparent watching the two films that Evans was simply more comfortable as the more hearty and wholesome Rogers than he was as the hotshot Storm. This has led to not only the success of several films but also superhero moments and cameos that we will never forget. We should all thank our lucky stars that Evans was given another chance at superhero magic, and makes our list. Best: Hugh Jackman, Wolverine. When I write these articles, I have to contain my overwhelming fandom for the Hugh Jackman Wolverine character. Jackman was cast as the tough-as-nails anti-hero of the Men in 2000 at the forefront of the superhero movie craze. Since then, Jackman has starred or appeared in no less than 8 movies and is unquestioningly the favorite character of the franchise. It is plausible to think that if Jackman wasn't so perfect for his role that the Men films wouldn't have been such a success, with their status as the frontrunners of the Marvel movie craze. The success of all later films owe their success largely to the Men franchise, and thereby Jackman himself. I'd say that's worthy of the number 1 spot on our list. Specific facts and dates related to the films or their comic book adaptations are taken from IMDb for the Marvel Characters webpage.